Good evening and welcome to the Swell Happy Hour. Oops, I didn't mean to. We're talking about premature ejaculation. That's right. We have a special guest tonight on our show, and it's going to be fabulous, simply fabulous. Yes, the Swell Happy Hour, the art of communication. We are talking about, oops, I didn't mean to. How many times have you heard that? I know I've heard it before. I'm sure you have too, and you'll soon see why. Talking about premature ejaculation. Our guest tonight is Mizana Munir. Yes, Mizana Munir. Yes, big, big, big. Well, in case this is your first time here at the Swell Happy Hour, you might be wondering, what is SWELL for women? Well, SWELL for women is sexual wellness and empowered living lifestyles for women. And SWELL is an infotainment forum, and it arms women with a different perspective about sex, sexual wellness, just so that they gain self-esteem and confidence and knowledge, knowing about the healing benefits of adult toys. I bet you never thought that adult toys had healing benefits. Well, they do. And a swell woman, she struts because she has now unleashed her inner sexual goddess. And what's the Swell Happy Hour? Well, it's 60 minutes of virtual edutainment about sexual wellness and relationships. It's one guest, one host, one topic. The intention is to create a new perspective about sex, sexual wellness, and develop a new appreciation for sex toys. Yes. Well, why? Well, there's 7 topics that we explore every month, and we host a show themed around one of the list of 7. And the intention is to create awareness about sexual dysfunctions, the available remedies, and to inspire new conversations about sex. And that's what we are lacking in our society these days. Positive conversations about sex. And some of these topics that we explore are how to throw your own party for one. That's masturbation. Or rear entry only, please. Talking about anal play. Or cream. That's about oral sex. And what about this never happens to me? That's erectile dysfunction. So many men are plagued with that. And oh, I'm too tired for sex tonight. Yeah, my libido went bye-bye. That's about low T, low L. How many women are saying, oh, not tonight, honey, I have a headache. And we have an episode called Get Your Spice Rack. That's for the couples, about bedroom adventures. But tonight, we are talking about, oops, I didn't mean to, premature ejaculation. Yeah. Do you suffer from that? It's not uncommon, you know. And what is it exactly? Ooh, honey, I'm ready to start. Ooh, I'm finished. Yeah. Have you been privy to those kind of conversations? Unfortunately, we want to know, because there's so many women out there talking about, well, what's the cure? Because I'm just frustrated. Well, tonight's show, in Oops, I Didn't Mean to, you're going to have to get your tantra, your smoke, and your crystals. That's right, I said it, because we're going to discuss the what and why of premature ejaculation, who suffers, and the relationship effects of it. And then our guest will do a presentation on how to recover from this using tantra, smoke, and crystals. So please ask questions. If you have any questions, put them in the chat box and we'll address them towards the end of the show. So as I said, excuse me, the what, the why, and the who. Why is he coming so quickly? 1 out of 3 men have this issue. Did you know that? 1 out of 3 men. It's 30% of men who have this premature ejaculation issue. And it's coming too soon. It's coming after a minute of sexual play. It's coming after 2 seconds of foreplay? Why is that? Well, it could be a lot of reasons. It could be psychological, or it could be biological. Oh, I can't even say that 10 times fast. Biological. Well, the psychological reason could be they had early sexual trauma, like abuse or sex depression, some kind of depression or mental poor self-esteem. They don't like how their body looks, or they don't like the fact that they're coming too quickly, and they're fretting about this. They're worrying about it. And they say sometimes when you worry about something, it's like you're praying for it. So, or it could be that they're just not into you anymore. Never thought about that? Or maybe it could be that they have anxiety, or they're stressed out. That happens. They're anxious. Oh my God. And this is new panache. And they just come too quickly. Or it could be something biological, like their hormones. Could be abnormal levels of hormones. Or they may have an inflamed prostate. That could also be a reason for their premature ejaculation. But women also have premature orgasms. According to the International Society for Sexual Medicine, 40% of women have that. But who says that that's a problem? Because if we came once, then let's do it again. No problem. You come already, you'll come again. She'll come again and come again and come again and come again. And for the guy, that's a good thing. So I don't think it's a problem for women. So tonight we're going to focus on the guys. Yes. And the effects that it has on the relationships is that it causes a lot of withdrawal, frustration, and shame. So the woman may feel overly frustrated for going through this again and again and again, because at this point it's a frequent event in their bedroom. And if that's the case, she's going to say, well, why bother? Why bother? And then for the man, he might start withdrawing because now he's shamed and he's embarrassed that this is constantly happening to him. So we're going to seek some remedies, and we have the perfect person tonight to help us with that. That's right. I told you we have a fabulous guest here tonight. Her name is Mizana Munir, and she's a credentialed holistic psychotherapist. Yes, I almost got that 10 times wrong. And a certified holistic practitioner. Her area of expertise is helping others get their skills for their spiritual evolvement, and she helps with their transformation. That's right. Mizana has been a holistic and healing and wellness practitioner for several years, and her mission is to treat the body, the mind, and the spirit as one. For several years, she's taught and encouraged her clients about healthy living and lifestyle changes that they can incorporate. She has several certificates. She has the chakra healing and maintenance. She has the crystal practitioner, the hypnotherapy, the meditation therapy, the mindfulness therapy, the relaxation therapy, and the therapeutic touch. And she has traversed the globe extensively. So her experiences has enabled her to create a transformation, growth, and development in her clients and also in herself. Wave hello to our audience, Mizana. She's so much. And in case you're wondering, who is that lady in the hat? Well, that's me, Marcia Chambers, aka Speaker MC. I am a speaker and sexual wellness consultant, and my area of expertise is that I love helping women who are lonely in their relationships to go from sexless to steamy. That's right. That's what I do. Yes. As I said, I'm a sexual wellness consultant, and my mission is to reduce the world's divorce rate by 50%. And that's the reason why I created S.W.E.L.L, because I noticed that a lot of people were exchanging DNA and they weren't asking the right questions beforehand. And then they're subjecting the rest of us to their dysfunctions, like traffic jams. Yeah. My message shares information to women about having better sex and intimacy so that they give themselves permission to be sensual and sexual and to begin to lead empowered lifestyles. I produce and host a few shows that share this message about female sexuality, and one of them, the S.W.E.L.L Happy Hour, which you are on right now, is here, 60 minutes of it, excuse me, along with the S.W.E.L Playroom and the Bush is Swelling show. All three concentrate on shifting how we think about sex and sexuality. And on Mondays, I also produce a show called the Speaker MC Show, which is all about relationships, and that explores how we relate to ourselves, to our environment, and to others. So get your note, your pad, your pencil, sit back, relax, get a glass of wine. Today, our guest, Mizana Munir, will present solutions to this commonplace sexual issue of premature ejaculation. She uses modalities of the breath, poetry, sound meditation, and sound medicine, visual arts, and movement to assist clients with their transformation. And she'll share with us techniques using tantra, crystals, and smoke as remedies for premature ejaculation. I bet you never thought that could happen, right? Well, get your tantra smoke and your crystals, because Mizana is gonna help you out. Help a sister out? Yeah, we're gonna help a sister out tonight. Mizana, I put the floor in your capable hands, lady. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, Marcia, and I am truly happy to be here. So this evening we're talking a lot about premature releases. The reason that I use that term is because I also incorporate the early releases for women, and to make it as neutral as possible. So I know you said we're going to focus on the men, but I want to kind of make it a little bit neutral so that everyone can be a part of this. Anyone with questions will be able to ask, and know that this is a safe environment to discuss and talk about our sexual and sensual issues or transformations. So let me start by saying my recent population, because recently I turned 58, which was on Monday actually, and so I have been molding my population more and more into an age group that's more about me and my age group and what we do and the aging population and what have you. But I also step outside of that all the time, because I also service clients who are not in that population. They may be younger, they may be men, they may be looking for other cures or balances and transformations within what's going on in their life. So let me start this evening. I'm going to start with the smallest bit of information, which would be my smoke. Okay, so here's the thing about smoke. The reason that I don't really want to get too much into it, because it requires me evaluating, asking a lot of questions so that I can actually get a blend that's perfect for an individual. So that's a little bit tricky, but just so that you know, smoking herbs, and these are herbs, I'm not talking about marijuana, any type of hallucinogenic. I'm talking about medicinal herbs such as maybe kava, or we can use any type of rosemary or any type of medicinal herb that you can drink for tea. You can also use to smoke. Now, some of the herbs have properties that would make the situation that we're talking about, premature release, it would help the individual to bring it under control. And that's what someone who is suffering with this disease would like to do. They'd like to have more control of their body function and how they perform while they are with their partner. So smoking herb, here possibly a blend of Damia, or we can also have something like uh, a smoker's blend, mullein or mugwort, things like that, to bring down the anxiety that you had talked about earlier. Now, these herbs can be used in teas as well. But the reason that a lot of my clients enjoy smoking the herb is because it helps them to transform and also gives them that sense of balance, that sense of stabilization, that sense of peaceful, tranquil feeling. And those are the blends that I frequent a lot when it comes to my male clients, because I have found that men enjoy that. It's almost as though they're having a cigarette after making love. So for me, it's very important that I bring that in to this conversation because it works quite well. Now, if you are interested in smoking blends for the premature release, then you need to definitely contact me and we can discuss that, because the smoking technique it's absolutely phenomenal. I have gotten very good ratings as far as my combination of blends. But again, you have to know the individual, if they're allergic to any types of foods or plants, and before you can do the blend. So that's why it makes it a little tricky. But smoking herb works very well. Now, we're going to transition a little bit into crystals. But before we get into crystals, I just want to say something about the whole lovemaking process. Lovemaking is a form of praying. And if we could think about that prior to going into it, you'd find that the process itself is a beautiful process. And so therefore the control that you're looking for when it comes to premature releases, you'd be able to manage that a lot more. So if you go into the process of lovemaking, looking at it as a form of prayer, you find that you are entering into the sanctuary of another person. And so therefore, you are going to prayer. With that in mind, you set an intention. And usually when I ask individuals, what is your intention when prior to going in to a love blessing? They'll say, to reach a climax, or to make my partner happy, or to feel less stressed. And so if that is the case, then you go in with that intention. Remember that this is sacred space that we're entering. We're entering into someone else's sanctuary. So we're praying. And so as you would go into your sacred space when you go to meditate, you go in with an intention. It's the same thing. You go in with an intention, and the intention here is either to please the other person, to please you, to have a beautiful non-verbal communication or verbal communication, and to come out with the outcome of success. So we're changing the mindset of how we approach sacred love blessing. I don't even call it sex. I call it sacred love blessing, because for me, that brings me even closer to my partner when you think about it like that. So that would be the first thing that I would want to say. Now, I'm going to next talk about the crystals or stones. And there's several crystals that you can use when it comes to performance and stamina in your sacred space, your bedroom, wherever you perform your sacred love blessing. And there are a few that I highly recommend. The agate stone is particularly important because of its stabilizing and strengthening influence. So all agates naturally comes with that stabilizing as well as its strengthening. So to give an extra oomph to that stone, there's a fire agate, and that fire agate particularly deals with the root chakra. And the root chakra is necessary because it is the root chakra that gives us our sense of safety, our survival chakra. And with this chakra healthy, balanced, stabilized, and strengthened, you'd find that the ability to perform, have a high stamina, have a high vitality in bed. It will give you that energy. So that's the fire agate. Now, along with the fire agate, I also recommend amber. Now, here's the reason. Amber is a beautiful stone, but it's good for transformation. And the reason that I am including it is because we're looking to transform. If you're an individual who let's say, doesn't last long, so therefore you have a premature release, or you find that once you have a release, then that's it for women. You cannot have another. You find that it's very challenging, next skin to none, or that you don't have orgasm at all. This amber stone, because of its transformational properties and the transformation here, amber moves from the plant kingdom to the mineral kingdom. And because of that quality that it carries within itself, it also helps you to transform. So when you go into your sacred love blessing and you go in with the intention of transforming, doing things differently, of being sound in body so that you can please yourself as well as your partner, amber is a beautiful stone to have in your environment because it also helps you transform in that sense. I'm going to talk about the carnelian next. Carnelian is the stone of the sacral chakra, which is also known as the sex chakra. And the carnelian stone is a stone for courage, and it's a stone for vitality and confidence. You'll find a lot of men who are having premature release issues. It's sometimes because of confidence issues. And it could be from childhood. It could be that this has happened so many times that they are unable to bring that type of confidence to their sacred love blessing. So they go in, instead of with the intention to please and to perform at an optimal level, they go in with the intention, or they bring old data from the last love blessing or from an issue that they've had in the past to their present situation. And carnelian is a stone of confidence. So it gives you the confidence in the present, in the here and now, so that you can bring your intention to fruition. Now, it also increases the body life force and vitality. So it's an excellent stone for this dis-ease, okay? So you want to keep that in mind. That's one of the stones that I oftentimes recommend for some of my clients. Now, I am going to talk a little bit now about garnet. Garnet is an energy booster. It's deep color. It's also connected with the root chakra. So its deep color brings that kind of staying power. It also helps you with positivity. So when you enter into this sacred love blessing, you have a positive mindset, and it also helps with manifestation. So what a perfect stone for that kind of activity. You know, you go in and you say, okay, so this is what my intention is for this evening, for right now, and place the garnet around you. Now, when a lot of times people would think you have to carry the stone on you or place it on your bed or something, you don't have to do any of that. You just place it in the room. I firmly believe in having a love blessing altar. You can have it in your bedroom. You can have it in your closet in the bedroom. You can have it in a drawer that's in the bedroom that you can open, and you can you have your sacred tools within. And one of the stones that would be a beautiful stone to have there would be a garnet stone. Now, I'm going to move into my favorites for this type of dis-ease. And one of my favorites is onyx. And the reason that it is that onyx promotes inner strength, it enhances endurance, and boosts mental focus, clarity, and attention to detail. That's it right there. So you're going in with your intention. You want to have your inner strength to carry through your intention. You want to enhance your endurance, so you want to perform at optimal level, and you want to boost your mental focus. You want to stay clear. You want to make sure that you hit that target over and over again. And so onyx is a beautiful stone for that, because it also pays attention to detail. It's a great piece of any kind of work that calls for a higher level of focus and discipline. It also is said to eliminate any type of negative thinking. So if you're bringing issues from your past into your bedroom or into the situation that you're in, it helps eliminate that. It helps you to stay focused. Now, I noticed that my screen went, and I don't know if I am still with you. Are you guys with me? Are you with me, Marcia?
Yes, we are still with you.
Okay,
We see you.
okay.
Day.
Thank you. My screen just kind of blinked, and I didn't know if you were with me or not. Okay, so onyx, it's a stone for mastery. So if it is that you're saying that this is what you want, and this is what I want to control these premature releases, then you want to master that. And your onyx stone, carries that high, intense energy so that you can continue and you can complete your performance. Now, this isn't just for men, it is also for women. So I know a lot of times we have women who they've gone many years in their lives without ever experiencing an orgasm. And that in itself speaks to a chakra or chakras that are out of alignment. And we need to take care of that first before we do anything else. You need to have that kind of diagnosis. What's going on that's stopping me? So the information that I'm giving here, keep in mind, I'm talking to a population that you have ruled out any type of medical issue, and medical issue here, let's say prostate cancer, or any kind of issue that you know your doctor has diagnosed you with, and so therefore you have to heal from that. We're not talking about those individuals. I just need to put because I'm not a medical doctor, so I don't want you to get the impression that I'm saying forget about that, go this way. This is a form of alternative healings that can enhance what your doctor is giving. And so working together may be an excellent idea. Or if you don't know what's going on in you, you find that your doctor doesn't have a diagnosis for you, but you're experiencing this issue over and over again, here is where you start. I normally wouldn't say to go to the medications first because I'm a holistic practitioner. So just keep that in mind. But if you're comfortable going to the medication first and you find that it's not really working for you, by all means, try these alternative healings. You'll find that they work very well. It's not an overnight fix, so you're not going to get that result if you're looking for that overnight. It's going to take a little bit of time because it requires you to work at this. It's not a pill. Now, so we left off at onyx, and onyx also can help you with resolving grief. So if you know that the reason that you're having this premature release is due to something that happened in your past, and and it's a grief issue for you, you're carrying it, onyx is excellent. The other three I'm going to give you quite quickly would be mahogany, obsidian, malachite, and that's it. So those are the stones that you can text me, PM me. I can give you more information about it, but I really want to get into the Tantra part of this so that you can see how Tantra really heals, because Tantra requires you to get into your body, move out of your head and get into your body. So those are the stones that I would strongly suggest. There are other stones as well, but those are the stones that I know work quite well. Now, I just touched on a topic a little while ago, and just let me elaborate a little bit, and that is your sacred space. Your sacred space in your bedroom. When you approach sacred love blessings, your mindset has to be of performance. Just as you would have your rituals when you go to your yoga mat and you make your intention and then you perform. It's the same thing. You get into yourself and you perform. It's the same thing with sacred love blessing. So when you prepare your space for this, keep that in mind, that your space should have everything that addresses each sense. So you want to have something for taste, you want to have something for smell, you want to have something for sight, you want to have something for touch, and you want, what's the other one? I'm missing one. I think I have all. I'm not sure. But your five senses.
Auditory.
Thank you, auditory. So music. And once you set up your sanctuary this way, be it bedroom, whatever room, kitchen, wherever, when you go there, the intention is to have a beautiful, communicative type of relationship. So you're entering the sanctuary, okay? Now, this doesn't mean that there's no impulse or you know, it has to be one way all the time. But it gets you into the mindset of creativity, so that when you perform your sacred love blessing, you bring all of that to the environment. Okay? So make sure that you're going into it with that kind of mindset. That mindset will also help you when it comes to the premature release, because just as you set it up in your mind, as you know, well, I don't know if you know, but your brain is your largest sex organ. And so if you go in knowing that, you know that once you master this, then your body follows. So you're going to go into this mastering your mind. You're going in with the intention to perform healthy. You're going in with the intention to complete and to please your partner. Saying all of that, let me just give you an idea of what Tantra is, because for those of you who are not familiar with Tantra, I need to just give you some information. Tantra is it's a lifestyle. It isn't just sex. A lot of people come to it because of that, misnomer. Oh, it's about sex, and it's about sex and nothing else but sex. But it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle where you experience life through living through your senses, the 5 senses that I just mentioned. And you make everything sacred. So even though you're having a challenge, and this challenge that we're talking about this evening would be the premature release, even though you're having that challenge you make sacred. And so therefore, approaching your sacred love blessing as a sacred venture that you're about to get into, and making the environment sacred, therefore your mindset is that of a sacred being. And so Tantra allows you to enter that person's sanctuary with that mindset. So it's a prayer. The two of you coming together, it's a prayer. It's praying. Techniques that you can use. It's called the kiss breath. The kiss breath gets you out of your head and into your body. The kiss breath is, if you take your fingers and you place it in that little socket and you restrict your throat just a little bit, you hear yourself breathe. So you'll hear something like, so it's in and out through the nose. And when you listen to your breath and the breath of another person, it takes you on a journey. You travel. So that's the first thing you want to learn to do, is the breathing technique of a kiss breath. That brings you down. It helps with the anxiety, and it gets you connected. First thing. The other thing that you want to learn to master, it's the pelvic floor squeeze, or the perineum for the men. You know that if you're urinating and then you cut that urine off, that muscle that you use, that is the muscle that you need to strengthen in order for you to have control. So that muscle, in order to strengthen that muscle, there are a couple of ways to do that. One will be squeezing that perineum. You squeeze, you release. You squeeze and you release. And then you start squeezing and holding for the count of 3. You release for the count of 2. You squeeze for the count of 3. You release for the count of 2. With the women, you squeeze the uterine walls. So you start at the bottom on the inhale with the kiss breath, and you count up 5. You count 5, holding 5, and you squeeze from the bottom of the pelvic wall up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You hold, and then you release 1, 2, 3, and you do that several times. So you're building that muscle. And if you practice that over and over again, you will find that that muscle becomes very strong, and it gets strong, and it does it rather quickly. It depends on how long how much practice you're putting in. So you want to practice that so that you can also begin to experience the movement within you, which will lead to orgasm. And then not only that, as women, we can have multiple orgasms over and over again, as Marcia said in the beginning. Men, they'll have one big orgasm and then they're tired. But what they do in practicing this this muscle control, you can also start, men, edging, which means you go to the end to almost ejaculation, and then you use the kiss breath to bring yourself back. And then you do it again and again while you're in your sacred love blessing. So what it's doing, it's giving you the ability to control the release. And the more you do it, the better you get. Lastly, what it also helps is exercise. Exercise, like hip thrusts, squatting, going to the gym and doing a lot of the bottom work, so that you can build that muscle as well, building your legs, building your abdominal walls. Those exercises are great for performance and endurance in bed. Eating clean helps with that, because all of these starches and the bleached and processed foods helps to hinder your process. So even though it's like, I love to eat or what have you, but you're eating incorrectly, you're not eating clean, that isn't going to work with your goal, which is to have longer periods of love blessing with your partner or with yourself. Lastly, I want to say, get to know yourself better first. So women and men, get to know what it is you like. Men, practice. Eat healthy and practice building and going to the edge and coming back, going to the edge and coming back, squeezing the perineum muscle or the PC muscle, squeezing so that you can build control. All of these things help, and it helps in a quite a short time.
That was simply amazing.
I'm glad you
Yes,
enjoyed.
I have a few questions, and I invite the audience to please put your questions in the chat box, or come online, show your face, and ask the question. This is what S.W.E.L.L Happy Hour is all about, to have people feel comfortable to ask questions about sex. We're talking about sex. We're doing the damn thing, aren't we? Anyway, we're doing the sacred blessing. Yes, we're having sex. Well, I have a question for you, and it goes back to the crystals. First of all, fabulous presentation. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Do you have any samples of some of the crystals that you mentioned? The agate and the fire agate. So if we go to the crystal store, we can say, hey, we want one of those and one of those. We don't have to explain why we want it.
Well, here's the thing. You don't have to explain anything, because crystals are used for a variety of things. You go in, and if you say fire agate, they wouldn't think, well, she or he is using it because of premature release. They're not even going to think that way. They're going to think that you're going to use it for some kind of high frequency energy, whatever, or to carry it with you, or to feel a certain way, but they're not going to make that connection. So don't feel embarrassed about it at all.
Oh no, I wouldn't be feeling embarrassed. I just don't want to go through the explanation.
No, you don't even have to. You don't have to. No, not at all. You don't have to do that.
Okay, so you don't have any samples to show us what they look like. The amber, the fire agate, the garnet. The garnet seems like really, really good stuff there. And the onyx. Well, onyx is black, right? It's a
Yes.
black stone.
Onyx is a black stone. I do have, but I would have to get up to get it, and I don't want to do it.
Oh no, no, no,
You
no.
know?
That's fine. I mean, if you can provide us like after the show, maybe I can put it on the site or put it
Hmm.
in the group so that people can relate to it. Which one is that one?
This is an agate stone.
Really?
Mhm.
You see how
And
ignorant I
this
am to crystals? I would look
and
at that and say
this
that's jade.
no, it's not. And this and this is an agate stone. Um,
Ah, look at that.
this this actually is an agate with some onyx to it in it.
Okay. Okay. I see
Um,
that. Wow.
yeah.
Awesome. So another
Mhm.
question I have is about the smoking. So you mentioned that you can smoke the herb, right? And what does that do, smoking it? And that's number one. Do you wrap it up in a paper and smoke it like a cigarette? Or do you smoke it in a pipe? Or do you smoke it like in a hookah?
You can smoke it in a hookah,
Hmm.
but also now you can vape. You can vape dry herb. So you can buy a vape, a pen vape or whatever vape for dry herbs, and
Hmm.
you pack it,
Hmm.
and you smoke it just as though you're smoking
A cigarette.
a cigarette. Good. Well,
Oh,
cigarette, you
okay.
don't vape a cigarette, but
No, it's just that vapes, they categorize as a sex toy. Can you believe it or not? And
Mhm.
I know that vapes are not legal in some countries. Like
Mhm.
recently, I went to Thailand and they said no, no vapes here. Customs asked everybody because they know that it's the tradition and they know that that country allows you to smoke. Unlike America, you have to steal to smoke. Out there,
Mhm.
everybody smokes everywhere. So,
Mhm.
that's one thing. So I just wanted to know if the smoking could be done in any format. So you're saying
Yes.
vape. Okay.
Yes, it can be done in a vape, but if let's say someone says, "Well, Mizana, I don't want to." All of my smoking blends,
Mhm.
I also have a lung health herb in it, so it also helps your lungs to function properly, keep them
Okay.
clear, what have you. So it's not done just, haphazardly, just throwing some herb together and say, okay, here, smoke this. It's going to
Mhm.
make you feel good. The other thing, the other thing is it the majority of people who complain about premature releases because they have some other issue going on,
Mhm.
whether they know it, whether
Mhm.
it's to the forefront of their mind or not.
Mhm.
And so if it is anxiety, for instance, there's an herbal blend for anxiety. If it is that you want to be able to go to a higher level
Mm.
during meditation so that you can process your issue, we can work to develop something like that as well. So it depends on what it is the individual is coming to me with, or if they don't know, that's also a process also. So that's why I was very brief with the smoke, because it's a little tricky. There's definitely an evaluation that has to be done, and definitely we have to talk about certain things, like some things from your past. How do you handle anxiety? How do you handle anger? Do
Mhm.
you sleep well? Things like, how are you eating? Do you eat well? So all those things will help in formulating a blend, an herbal blend.
Mm. Mm. I like that. Um, you mentioned about Kegel. Well, you called
Mm-hmm.
it the pelvic floor
Flow,
squeeze.
please.
So we have a toy for that, and it's called
Mm-hmm.
the Kegel toy, and you can get the weighted balls for ladies to help them
That
with
is
the
correct.
Kegel exercises. So I love that you mentioned that, and you differentiated that tantra is not all about sex, even though everybody has that misconception. You mentioned Tantra and everybody's like, oh, it's talking about Tantra. Yes. But they
Yes.
don't seem to realize that Tan means connection. You know, that
Correct.
simple prefix Tan is connection. And a lot of people are missing that kind of, excuse me, intimacy and connection in their relationships, that communication, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that you differentiated that for us. And the prayer. Yeah, I never thought of it as a prayer. Yeah. Next time I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to say, oh, I'm going to go pray.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe that the time has run almost out. So I would love to give you the floor right now to just tell people a little bit about Mazana and your holistic practices, and where can they reach you, where can they be in connection with you. And I'll put up the slide, I'll share the screen yet again, and I'll put up the slide so that they can have the information right at their behest while you speak to us. So
Beautiful. Okay.
yeah.
So as I am, oh, beautiful. So let's quickly. So this symbol is used for physicians and in
Mm-hmm.
medicine.
Mm-hmm.
That can also be used, and it's used as a tantra symbol
Mm-hmm.
because the rod represents the spine,
Mm-hmm.
and the snakes where they connect represents the chakras,
Mm-hmm.
and the wings represent enlightenment.
Oh,
And
I never knew what
so
that was.
but in North America, we use that completely wrong. So if you
Mm-hmm.
do the research, you will see the disconnect. But so when you look at this sign, and especially in a tantra culture, you'll find that it shows how the body, the mind, the spirit works. And in order for you to get enlightenment, you have to work through your chakras. You
Yes.
have to make sure your chakras are balanced,
Yes.
and moving up, it will lead you to enlightenment. And so there's a lot that goes with that, which would have to be another time. But just to
We
let
could do
you
a
know
whole
that,
show on caduceus.
yes, you can. Yes, you can. But so I said I'm a holistic practitioner and spiritual coach. I enjoy fusing things together.
Mm-hmm.
So I fuse a lot of my services together so that you can get a holistic feel and address different areas. So you may come to me saying, oh, Mizan, I have an issue with premature release, but in all actuality, I'm going to address your chakras. I'm going to take care of your breathing, your relaxation, so that you get a complete holistic experience. So you can visit my website, which is inmymotherswomb.com. And once you get there, it's going to be a little pop-up, and that little pop-up is quite necessary. So please don't exit out. It just asks for your name and your email address. And you know, the thing about it is that I used to do that. When I go to someone's page, I would exit out. But now I beg everyone, please don't exit out. Because because that's the way I collect your email. And so when I'm sending things out, you are also invited through
Right.
email to do that. Okay. My Instagram is Ms. Munir _holistic _practitioner. And my Twitter is at in my mother's WOM1, WOM1.
Mm-hmm.
My Facebook is in my mother's womb sacred space boutique, and my Facebook butterfly tribe, which is for my women 50 plus years sage, and that is um oh my god, uh, manifesting sacred transformation. That's the name of the group. So you can visit me, you can personal message me, you can send me an email, and an email will be ca_therapist@yahoo.com, and we can talk about issues and how to address them, and where you can go as far as on my website to purchase any services, or at my Facebook shop in my Mother's Womb Sacred Space Boutique.
So do you have anything coming up for the 2018? Any events, any, I don't know, any new stuff coming up in the My Mother's Womb?
In February,
Mm-hmm.
in February, I'm doing an online, all of my services are online.
Mm-hmm.
So in February, I'm doing an online Tantra meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the date yet because I'm still trying to give
Move things
some
around.
thought to that, right? And so it will be online Tantra meditation in February, as well as in January, I am going to introduce Tantra yoga.
Okay, I like that. That's very exciting. Very exciting. Very exciting. I look forward to that.
Thank
And
you.
as Miss Munir has stuff coming up in 2018, so does S.W.E.L.L. We encourage you to visit marciachambers.com and check out the membership. Join us as a member. If you are that woman who does everything for everybody and you want to get your me time, you want to feel special, you want to get gifts, you want to be that VIP, well, check out being a S.W.E.L.L mate. Yeah, S.W.E.L.L playmate. Because you can hang out with us, go on play dates. And that our first play date is launching in April 2018. So make sure only members are alerted of the location and the date and the time. But just to give you a brief peek, we'll be hanging out at this mansion, okay, on the East Coast. Yes, so check with us. That's right, S.W.E.L.L play dates. So thank you so much, Mizana. It has been a fabulous treat having you here on the show. And we learned so much, even though no one really asked any questions but me. But that's fine. I'm pretty sure everyone got a whole lot of information about crystals and smoke and tantra and how to ease that anxiety and just rid themselves or their mates of that PE, premature ejaculation, or as she likes to coin it, premature release. So our call to action for you today is to get a fatty. Inhale, hold, then exhale. Yeah, practice controlling your breath, because once you start disciplining yourself and start disciplining your breath movements, you will see a whole host of things open up to you. Am I right, Mizana?
You are absolutely correct.
A whole new world. That's right. And I'll leave you with this quote from this comedian, Dave Attell. He says, premature ejaculation. Let's talk about it. Premature ejaculation. That's a pretty fancy term for, oh no, this has never happened before. And on that note, we are at the close, and I just want to say this is the last show for 2017, and it's at the beginning of the seasons of good cheer and happiness and food and drinks and friends and smiles and laughter and joy and dancing and love. Have it all. Be merry, be happy, be cheery, and please, 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 please have lots and lots of prayer. Sex. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday, and please connect with either or both of us. And this is S.W.E.L.L Happy Hour, and we're saying good night.
Good night.